is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That, of course, was Static X. The name of that tune was The Enemy. And on the line right now, we've got a former member of that version of Static X, and he's got a new band called Face Without Fear. Of course, I'm talking about guitarist Tripp Eisen, as well as the vocalist of Face Without Fear. We've got Mantis. Mantis and Tripp, how are you guys doing?
Good, man. Thank you very much.
Very well.
Excellent.
Very well. Thanks for having us.
Well, guys, definitely an interesting release for many, many reasons for you guys. Obviously, a new band. Obviously, there's a lot of baggage that we're trying to, that especially Tripp is trying to get past. So why don't we start with, let's go back a little bit and get the ugly shit out of the way.
Sure.
Obviously, Tripp, it's an uphill battle for you stepping back into your career, into your life, etc., after being convicted of sex crimes.
Right.
But before we even talk about music, following your time in jail, how difficult was it to just, get back into living and get back into, not necessarily music, but obviously music came. So talk a little bit about, getting past that and then getting started again with your life.
Yeah, it was a very difficult time. It seemed like I lost a lot of relationships, but I persevered through that. I just, a lot of people stuck by me, and I really appreciate my family's support that I had at that time. But, most of all, it's just dealing with the remorse of everybody that I hurt, people that I really hurt. Obviously, the people, the girls that I was involved with, I don't have any context, so I don't know anything. All I know is I feel bad about any harm that they were caused, which I don't know, but I feel bad about it. I can imagine that. But as far as the hurt that I caused the band, obviously, and the hurt that I caused my family is something I had to deal with for many years after that. And, through a lot of therapy and counseling and different things that I dealt with that and put it in perspective and, had a lot of time to think about that stuff. And, I've been more spiritual and just been self-reflective about a lot of that stuff and dealing with a lot of the negative things that have come out, a lot of people throwing all these things at me. I have to deal with that. And, good friends of mine that come to me and say, what really happened? And I tell them, what happened. And they are understanding to a degree and supportive. And, it's America, and I hope that people can give me a second chance. And,
Sure.
I know how I would treat someone and people that have messed things up in their life, and how I would be compassionate to them and understanding, as long as they're remorseful and they feel sorry for what happened.
Sure. Is the stigma of being classified as a pedophile something that people, even close people in your life, have let go of, or does that still does it haunt you, just day to day?
Well, the term isn't accurate, though. That has to do with prepubescent, and that's not my situation. That wasn't my situation. So the term, just like if you're a bank robber, you don't want to call a shoplifter a bank robber. You want to use the proper legal terms. Okay. So that's hurtful to hear all these things. People throw these terms out. So if they're accurate, it's a statutory offense that I had, and there was no force involved and everything else, and people can, research this and find it out. But I would like, being unfairly judged is hurtful to me. So, my friends and family and people who I associate with understand that. And most of all, like with the current climate and what I'm doing with relaunching my career, something that means something to me is my band, Rough House, that I first reunited with a few years ago. They welcome me back. They support me 100%. And then my current band, Face Without Fear, with Kenny, who's on the phone here with us. And, the band knows my character, and they support me, and they back me. And to mention a third band, Static X, which I got involved with 2.5 years ago, close to 3 years, this reunion, they know everything, and I was working with these guys, writing songs, working on the project. So they know what's up with me, and they were working with me, and they understood the situation, the heightened awareness of everything, and we had a plan to how to deal with it in the publicity, talk to the guys, and we had, we had a plan, just like I'm talking to you about it right now.
Right.
To understand and to let people understand, how I feel about things. And, you got to be fair about classifying me and saying what actually happened.
Fair enough. Well, let's talk.
Yeah, so,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, so then that's it. So then I appreciate now Static X is out there, and I'm excited for them, and I'm excited for my part of it. Those guys are right now a little bit like positioning themselves, like trying to distance themselves from me and my contributions with the band, and it's a little bit hurtful because they were right in my corner, and now it's like the heat's on them a little bit, and instead of just saying a few nice things, like my guys at Face Without Fear would say that we support Tripp, they're like, oh, they're all getting all freaked out and saying, oh, he's just trying to attach himself for credibility. Well, I was involved with the reunion, so I don't have to attach myself. I am involved with these guys.
Right.
So it's like a little weird, but...
Is it... In fairness, though, you understand why they are, right?
Oh, actually, no, absolutely. I deal with it all the time. You got to deal with... But anybody who confronts me, fronts me out, I face them down, I talk to them, and I'm honest with them. It's like you can talk a little more candidly off the air, not in public, we're talking right now.
Sure.
When I'm talking one-on-one with someone, I can talk and be a little more candid and speak a little more, graphically about things. But it's like, and then when we do, it's like, we understand each other, and that's why Tony Campos and the guys were working with me at for a while, so because they understood that. But things, for different reasons, there's pressures, and I understand. It happened with Wayne. Wayne was supportive of me when I first got in trouble. Wayne was supportive of me. He was like, he's still back, even though I was out of the band, he was still on a personal level supportive of me. At a certain point, there's other ugly things that happen after that, which is, it really sucks. But Wayne was supportive of me, and he treated me fairly with the songwriting and everything I put into the Start a War album, which you just played a song off of it, The Enemy. So that's a proud part of my songwriting and everything else. And Wayne said to me, "Hey, listen, you should be proud of this album. It's awesome." They had to go out and support it, but he said, be proud of this album. It was a great album that we did together. And so, I have a lot of good memories of Wayne, and that's something else that I hold really dear to me, and all you guys know that.
Sure. Well, and the one thing that comes through, at least from what I've heard, which is all of one song, so I can't say for sure, but with Face Without Fear, is that you kind of have brought that sound, you sort of meshed it with what you're known for, really. I mean, you're obviously known for that, or Dope, or Murderdolls, or whatever, and the new band has a lot of that element, especially in your playing.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, and the stuff you're going to be hearing coming up, some of the newer releases that are a little bit heavier. That song is a little bit, more commercial, but we have some more heavier stuff. We're going to go into some heavier areas, because when I joined Static X, I loved it. I loved the heaviness, but Wayne kind of wanted to go a little more commercial for Shadow Zone, and I adapted because I was new in the band, and that's what these guys wanted to do. Like a lot of people say, oh, Tripp changed the sound of Static. No, I was going along because that's what they wanted to do. I was more into the heavy stuff, But we still wrote a lot of heavy stuff, and some of the heaviest stuff on Shadow Zone is my stuff. Wayne was more experimental with his, some of the stuff he was writing.
Sure.
So,
you got quite a trained ear, Chris, because, you're absolutely right. I mean, we've even gotten some comments online about, hey, that's Tripp's signature sound. That's sick, So there's definitely a recognizable trait in the playing.
Sure,
I agree.
There definitely is. Well, Kenny, since you're speaking up, I'll ask one to you. Why don't you talk a little bit about how Face Without Fear came together?
Oh boy. Well, I can tell you that it's a project that's been in the mix for a good couple of years. I came in, I think. There were a couple of guys, that went through until he found the right mix. And I came in about, it's been a little over 2 years now. Okay. We sort of bumped into each other through, like the network of people and some rehearsal places and this, that, and the other thing. And we wound up getting together once or twice and kind of looked at each other and said, "Hey, this feels right. Let's keep doing this." So we had a couple of songs done pretty quickly, and then since then we've just really kind of honed in on writing new material together. Some of it was already kind of done, and it was like, listen, we more needing just the icing. It needs the vocals. It needs this. Other stuff was just from bare bones, and
Yeah, the cool thing about Kenny, like Kenny and I share a background, similar background. So we can be talking about Pantera one minute, we talk about Rat and Motley Crue the next minute, and go from hardcore stuff to the glam hair metal stuff. And Kenny, that's why it's so great. His background, he can be like, "Hey, Breed," or he can be like, "Hey, Kiss,"
Sure. Yeah, I like it all. I mean, if it's guitar oriented, I'm a big fan. I loved arena rock growing up. It's big Iron Maiden, Judas Priest. Just people that put on a show. People that brought that energy level to and then and as funny as it sounds, glam still kept that show and energy level element.
Sure.
Whether people took it or left it, is kind of irrelevant. It was more of like what they brought to the live show, and I was like, wow, that they're, so, and you do see definitely some metal artists like Suicide Silence, rest in peace, Mitch. He really, he had a great presence on stage, so it just they're just these people that I think that they bring so much to the live show.
Sure.
And that's very important to me.
Mm-hmm. How long did it take you guys before you had both the band intact and the chemistry musically to where you thought you were ready and you had songs that you were ready to record and actually put out to the world?
So it took a little bit, but it just kind of it was just organic. It's just kind of like me and Kenny worked on stuff, and the songs are basically me and Kenny working on. I had some demos, like the song you heard, Deliverance. That's from 2002. It was a Static X demo for Shadow Zone. So it's like it came out of that, but then Kenny took some of my lyrics, melded his lyrics, put melody over it, and we just kind of, I kind of worked with him sort of like I worked with Wayne. We just, put our heads together, mix and match stuff, and, it just kind of comes out, and it's, Kenny's got his stamp on it, and it's like really cool, so it just
to answer your question, it was about 5 minutes. No, it was it was less than a year. I'm going to say it was less than a year, but that we had a good amount of songs. We were like, this shit's prime. This is prime. Let's record. Let's put this on wax.
Sure. Well, I'll kind of ask you, Kenny, the same sort of question I asked Tripp. Obviously, Tripp's past is big news, and you know that. And I have to imagine for you, family and friends at least shook their head once or twice when you said, "Well, this is who I'm working with." No.
Yeah, I got some questions, and I'll say questions and raised eyebrows.
Okay.
I'll say that. Other than that, it really wasn't. Look, I'm a big boy. I can make my own decisions.
Right.
And that's pretty much what it was left at. I do have a family of my own, and I really don't want to dive much more into that,
sure,
but. I would not be, as you guys were talking about before, I'll call it the P word. Mm-hmm. On social media, I find that the invention of social media, a lot of people who did not have a voice before, say, 2005, now have a voice. Mm-hmm. So therefore, they're gonna raise it, whether it's positive or negative. I would not be in a group with a P word.
Okay.
Like that's not because of the situation that I'm in.
Right.
So I could, you understand? So, I guess that's the best way I can explain it, so I had to I had to make that decision myself. And, as Tripp said, we had a conversation about it. That was one of the, and let me be clear, it wasn't like I jammed with him and this went on for months, and he was like, "Oh, by the way,"
right.
It was something that he wanted to make me aware of it right away, and he wanted to kind of, let it be my decision, which I'm sure that's a difficult thing, and I think that I don't know what had before I came along, but I'm sure it's possible that may have had someone turn their nose up at him before. I don't know, but I did not. I just said, hey, this is the situation, and when I looked at it and did my homework on it and talked to him about it, I made the decision that this guy needs a second chance at life.
Sure.
So I who am I to judge? Look, I've done some shitty things in my life, and I especially when I used to drink a lot of whiskey. So
right.
So I'm not really So I just I'm learning to to forgive a lot of people in my life that have done me wrong, and so and honestly, Tripp's been nothing but kind to me. He's never given me a reason or shown any inclination of, like, let's say, past behavior,
right.
So I don't see anything like that, and I think that he's a great guy. He's dumped a lot of time and effort into this project,
sure.
And pulling all the like a puppet, working all the moving parts and stepping into it the way that I did. It's overwhelming because it's like, it's as you say, next level shit. So I'm like, okay,
right.
Wait, this is a little more involved than a local band,
Right.
And Chris, like a lot of people are like, obviously like, oh, why are you going to work with him, or why you work? Like a lot of people are going to get that. My band, they're going to get a lot of that. Oh, they're going to get some attacks from people, some anonymous, some not anonymous. But it's like, why are you working with him? Are these fans? Are these just people who want to be rock throwers or stuff? So out of fans, when I go out, I run into people. I've reconnected a lot of relationships. I'm friends with a lot of people. I go out and see a lot of the bands I used to tour with, and reconnect with a lot of people. I reconnected with Tony and Ken and a lot of people I used to play with. So, like, if they have any issues, why would they take a picture with me that could end up all over social media? Why would they? So, like, when push comes to shove, you followed rock and roll your whole life. There's a lot of posturing. Posturing. Let he without sin cast the first stone. You want to posture, then let's lay it out there. Just be kind, be understanding, and ask me a question. And then a lot of people do. So, when people want to front me out, come talk to me and ask what happened, and go like, oh, okay. And that's what people do. When I talk, they go, oh, okay, I understand. I understand what happened.
But,
although I did think it was strange that Tripp wanted me to show up at rehearsal with no pants on. I didn't understand what that was all about.
Nice.
But I went with it. You know what I mean? Hey, whatever. That kind of band. All right, man.
Nice.
Get out the mashed potatoes.
Well, it's Tripp.
That's the thing, Chris. The thing about we have a sense of humor. We'll joke around. We'll make inappropriate jokes.
Of course.
You have to have a good time. You can't be so damn serious all the time.
Right. No, I get it. And but let's go to the other side of this, though. Certainly, acquaintances will judge you for who you are. Metalheads and in general, the general people that are never going to look further are going to put you in that same boat with Dave Holland and Artemis Pyle and Ian Watkins, etc. Fair or unfair, what is it that you think is going to make enough of them be forgiving to give your musical projects, and specifically Face Without Fear, a chance?
Oh, well, just because I'm going to persevere. Like, put me in the category with Gene Simmons and Steven Tyler and Ted Nugent. Put me in the right category. I'm good with it. Treat me fairly. All right, I got in trouble. Some people do drugs their whole life, never get arrested. Other people get arrested for drugs. So, put me in the right category, and I'm cool. Be fair. And I understand people throw stones, and it's an easy target. It's easy to bust chops. It's easy to, throw people under the bus. once you're nabbed with something like I've been, I understand that. So I'm understanding how people feel, and if they're honest, they want to hear, I'll say it. And I'm really sorry for everybody I did hurt. I mean, and especially fans. But I believe it's maybe 1 out of 10 fans that is still takes offense. Most fans are like, and it's a silent majority. Most fans aren't going to sit there and defend me because they don't want to be attacked. But they'll be like, "Yeah, Tripp, what's going on? I can't wait to hear his new music." We're promoting, we're going out there, and it's cool. And that's why I think pushing through. There's a lot of people, Chris. I've done interviews that don't even bring up, what happened to me. Just
Sure.
ask about the band and don't even bring it up. Some people are like, I run into people that don't even know that I got in trouble. Like, hey, you used to be in Static X, yeah. I said, you know what happened to me? No, what happened? Some people didn't even pay attention enough to know what happened, and they just treat me like a normal person. But I got to tell them, just so you know, this happened.
Sure.
But I'm moving on with life, and I'm going to keep pushing forward. The fact that Static X worked with me, and I was working on this project until it became the Wisconsin Dead Trip anniversary, I was working with these guys, writing songs with Zero, the vocalist, writing songs with Tony Campos, not just 2 or 3, but like 15 songs, working hard on this, recording and working on this project. So why would they work with me if I'm like, ooh, stay away? They were working with me because they know my character, and I understand that Wisconsin Dead Trip worked 20th anniversary, so it turned into that.
Sure.
But it was me as the guitar player. Let me make that clear. I'm sure that's going to make them uncomfortable, but I was the guitar player until it became the Wisconsin Dead Trip. Then I was like, well, let's put Koichi here, and you work behind the scenes, Trip. You stay behind the scenes, keep writing songs, and that's what went down. So,
okay.
So I've been trying to just to bite my tongue, but
Sure.
This is what's going on, and like for these guys to be like, oh, Tripp, well, why were you working with me for 2 freaking years? And here's another little fun fact. March, just a couple of months ago, they invited me to come out and play on this album. So, why would they invite me to come out and play on the album? Actually play on the album, get credits and everything else. So,
sure,
something happened. I ended up not doing it, but they did invite me out.
Right.
So, like that causes a lot of confusion, and fans are probably, well, why would they invite Tripp out to play on the album? Why was Tripp writing so many songs with them? Why was the first song they released Road to Hell? You know who wrote Road to Hell, Chris?
I'm
the
imagining you.
Song, the first song they released. Who wrote it? I wonder who wrote that song, the first song that announced the Wisconsin Dead Trip reunion. Who wrote that song?
Right.
It wasn't me, dude.
Wasn't me either.
Guess who wrote it?
It wasn't me, man.
It was Zero and Tripp. It was a Tripp Zero song.
Right.
Yeah, but put him in the right group of people, and
it's like, wow, what the hell's going on here?
Right.
It's kind of confusing. So, and I'm confused. So, it's just like, but I'm proud of it, dude. Like, obviously, if I see the world reacting to Static X, I'm like, wow, me and Zero wrote a song that launched this project. It's pretty freaking cool.
Sure.
Pretty freaking cool. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud of what I work on with Wayne. I was Wayne's partner more than anybody. Any original member of Static X. I was Wayne's partner for 5 years, writing songs, working with him hand in hand, going to meetings, and I was there. So he was my brother, and I know him, as well as anybody knew him. He was an amazing person. So, and that fact that I carry in my heart, that keeps me going. It motivates me. That's why we're playing a few Static X songs in our set.
Okay.
When you come see Faces Without Fear, you're going to hear a few Static X songs. Not because I want credibility, but because I know I love these songs and I want to play them for people that love them.
Sure.
It's like I'm really doing it for integrity's sake. We'll play a few songs from my old bands and stuff because it's fun. It's a lot of fun time. We're gonna have fun.
Sure. And
why so serious?
And you guys are getting ready to play your first gig, what, in a month, right? 3 weeks, month?
Yeah.
And
yep.
It's not too far away. August 25th. Yep, August 25th, Newark, New Jersey.
Very cool. And where's that at? What club?
QXT, baby. It's an industrial goth nightclub. It's been in business. I think they've been there 25 or 30 years now. It's so they really nice club. It's a nice place. Nice main floor and a couple of dance rooms downstairs. It's a pretty sweet place.
Very cool. Now, is this a headlining gig, or are you guys playing with somebody, or how's that working?
Oh, we're opening for Rat. No,
okay.
No, it's
oh, that'd be awesome.
No, it's
I'm down.
As a fanboy of Kiss, we know August 25th is Gene Simmons' birthday, so
right.
It was exciting. But it's it's our headlining show with a couple openers, vocal openers.
Okay, very cool. Let me again. I'm playing devil's advocate all over the place. I don't mean to be as much as it's it's the overwhelming question, I guess. The closest comparison I can make to you guys playing gigs right now is what's going on with like As I Lay Dying and Tim Lambesis. And they're having a lot of problems, with booking because of, his conviction or his time that he did. Are you guys anticipating that, or do you think that will not be as much because Lambesis' thing was maybe more high profile, or?
Well, I think his situation's pretty intense. I don't think. I mean, I obviously neither one of us were there. We don't know.
Right.
I'm not going to judge the guy. I don't know the situation, but I know of it. And it's pretty high profile. I don't personally anticipate a huge. I would think that there's going to be a club here and there that's going to not be okay with it, and then there's going to be 3 or 4 more in the same area that will be. So I anticipate a huge problem.
I've been doing. Well, Kenny knows this. My old band Rough House, which I reunited from with a few years ago, the old glam hair metal. So those guys wanted to do some shows, and I was like, okay. And I said, this will establish myself as an artist playing a range of shows. When I say a range of shows, meaning general audiences. No 18 and over, 21 and over, playing to general audiences, which I did with Rough House, with no incident, no problem. No, nobody was like, whoa. No, I played general audiences with Rough House, and people bring their kids out and everything. It's like this is rock and roll, and I want to play and keep my career going, and that's why I established myself. I have a track record now, and there's I'm playing out there, and I have I look forward to playing with these guys for as long as possible. We'll keep this, keep the ball rolling. It's a lot of fun, and I'm excited to launch the band. It's exciting.
Right.
This particular show is 21 and over. That's just the way the club rolls,
Sure.
But most of the fans are over 21. Most of the fans are like in their late 20s anyway.
Sure. Exactly. Well, one more ugly one, I swear, and then I'll stop. Given that your name is going to be out there, going forward in the public eye, do you consider or worry about how the victims are going to be hearing your name and hearing that you're in their town or seeing your video, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, I've already been out there. I mean, pretty much when I first played with Rough House, it was everywhere. And my name, Tripp returns to stage. It's like if anybody didn't hear it, my name was out there. So, I hope nobody's upset, or the victims or anybody would be upset. A lot of people, when I tell what happened, they say, how long ago was this? 14 years ago?
Right.
Well, 14 years, I've tried to do as best I can in the interim to establish myself and make amends any way possible that's possible to me, and I have done that. So, and at some point, you go, what more? Do you have any suggestions? What more do you want me to do? And I've done it. Anything I've been asked to do, I've done. Anything that I think I could do, I've done. And that's what I did. The Rough House thing. I'm doing Face Without Fear. I've been working with Static X. 3 projects, with people that all want to work with me.
Right.
So what does that say?
Yeah.
What does that say?
I hear you.
So,
well, let's talk.
The guy jumps through a lot of hoops to go through Daily Motion, and he does it. He does it all with good intention. I'll say that.
Sure.
He's always moving.
And I'm very aware of everything going on around me, and I'm never alone. And I'm always because look at what happened to certain artists out there. People have been murdered. Artists have been murdered. Dimebag. Who was the girl that got murdered? Christina Grimmie or something. There's people, maybe I'm putting my life, if people hate me that much, maybe I'm putting my life on the line, going out in the public eye. But but I'll take that risk because I don't think people truly, I think people are blowing a lot of hot air. I don't think the fans that care about me really, are that concerned about it. And I think if they are, they won't come. But most fans, I think, are cool. I've run into so many people, Chris, when I'm out there. I get a lot of good vibes, and we're excited to play. So yeah, whatever. We're working against the negativity, and I'm going to keep persevering, and I'm not going away. I'm here, and I'm going to keep playing music and keep making amends. And we believe in second chances. If someone doesn't believe in that, then that's up to them.
Right.
But I believe in second.
And that's un-Christian and that's un-American.
And I believe in third and fourth chances too. Like, let's just say it would, Even the law has 3 strikes and you're out. You're given 3 strikes before you're out.
Right.
Come on. Let's be real here.
Sure.
So.
Well, the first song that we've heard from Face Without Fear is Deliverance. It's what you would. It's kind of what you would expect with your name on it. It's got some dark lyrics. I will say that. So let's talk a little bit about this song and the origins of it and why you chose this to be the first offering from the band.
It just rose to the top of all the songs. We had like a batch of about 6 songs. We were like intensifying. This one just rose to the top, and everyone just nodded that this should be the one. And like I said, it goes back to the Static X demo I did for Shadow Zone. It's been lingering around. I just love the beat. I love the vibe of it, and it's just like that kind of grooving chunk of like freaking just like what I love. But we have some songs in the wheelhouse coming out. Like we're probably gonna release another song before this gig, and you're gonna hear a little bit more heavier side to us, the industrial heavier like power metal type of side to us, with a little bit more. The lyrics for this song, which Kenny and I have crafted, are a little darker, emotional. But some of the other lyrics coming out, some of the other songs will be more conceptual. I would say almost like Neil Peart-ish. Just System of a Down, a little more principled, philosophical, anthemic type of things that we're going to be portraying, which is another reason I'm excited about this band, because there's some concepts and stuff. It's not just mindless metal banter. There's actually, going to be some intellectual points behind some of the music, individualism, freedom, liberty, and a bunch of cool ideas. But this song in particular, well, Kenny can tell you, it's an emotional journey of a more darker side of life. But the lyric for the chorus is positive. I am the real thing. I want the real thing. Remove your disguise. So, the punch is still a positive, outcome after you're dealing with a lot of dark things. So, but Kenny is like, working with Kenny on the lyrics is awesome. We really work well together.
Cool. Well, let's check it out.
Man.
Well, let's check it out right now. This is Face Without Fear. It's Deliverance right here on your Classic Metal Show.